All right, you rocking out with Buzz too, and we about to do a reaction film to the Diddy case. A lot of names came out, a lot of things is going down. Man, let's roll it. If you like it, hit like. If you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Let's roll.
Richard, please tell me who was all at this restaurant. Richard answers Harv Pierre, Capricorn Clark, Mia, and myself, Kalina, our bodyguards, which was Bonds, and D-Rock, Cassie. The question continues with the defense asking, you remember who was all there, right? And Richard says, mm-hmm. The defense asks, do you recall alleging several celebrities were actually there? And Richard says yes. And the defense then says, quote, so when the government asked you who was all there, and I asked you who was all there right now, you didn't mention any of the celebrities, right? Right. Richard says. The defense then asks Richard to name the celebrities. And then she says, quote, Usher was there, Jimmy Levine was there, Neo came through. There were a few others too. I don't recall those people, but those are the ones I remember talking to. The defense then pressed Richard a bit, asking why she didn't say those names before when she was asked about who was there by the defense. And Richard says she was just repeating what she told the government in their direct examination. Usher and Diddy go back decades. Usher lived with Combs for a year, actually, when he was just a rising star in the music industry. He was 13, 14 years old at the time. Usher actually spoke about living with Combs in an interview 8 years ago on the Howard Stern show. Here's part of what he said.
You're going to go to Puff Daddy's. He's going
In the 90s, do you understand what that's like?
Puffy's place was like just filled with chicks and orgying like nonstop, right?
No, not really. I
Come
mean,
on.
but there, hey, it was curious. I got a chance to see some things.
Now, as far as Grammy winner Neo, he is someone who has been known to be a friend of Diddy and to be in the same social circles over the years. He faced backlash for a comment he made in the wake of Diddy's arrest during.
Now listen what he says at a concert. Now this is crazy. And then you got to take it back and say, oh, I was kidding. Come on now. This is Neo.
A performance in New Zealand last year where he reportedly said, quote, on stage, I was sexually assaulted and I liked it. I had a great time and I'd do it again. He later apologized for that and said, quote, in an attempt to be playful with my fans, I made an insensitive and irresponsible joke while on tour, and I'd like to truly apologize.
That's why guys like him is running around with 3 females talking about that's his wife. Those his wives. And it's like, man, these guys be doing stuff to cover things up because who care you got 3 women? You ain't had to put that in the public. They could have just been your thing, you know what I mean? But you putting it out there like you married, like that's a good thing to do, you know? But I'm not saying it's bad. I'm not knocking nobody, but dang, bro.
From the bottom of my heart. This is according to the UK media outlet, The Metro. Now, the other name that Richard mentioned was Jimmy Levine. He is a music legend. He is known as the co-founder of Interscope Records, so an incredibly powerful person in the music industry. It's important to note that in her testimony, Richard did not specifically say that any of the 3 actually witnessed that alleged moment where Combs punched Ventura in the stomach, but she did say that they were allegedly there that night. Now, none of the 3 have released statements since their names were brought up in court. Combs is on trial. He's expected to be on trial for roughly 7 more weeks. He's charged with racketeering, sex trafficking by force, and transportation to engage in prosecution. He has pleaded not guilty. Joining us now once again to talk about this case is former prosecutor and criminal defense attorney Safa Robinson Ferrer. Always great to have you on Law and Crime.
All right, we're going to check her out. Let's see what she had to say. We're going to make it brief. We know Usher, Neo, Jimmy Iovine, and probably some other names have came out. We know that they had Kid Cudi come up there yesterday and he testified, so maybe it's going to be some more testimonies of some crazy stuff we don't know about. Let's go.
Usher's name, he comes up yesterday, and that was kind of a moment where people clearly recognize who Don Richard was talking about. What should we take away from that anecdote and the fact that Usher's name was brought up?
The fact that Usher's name was brought up, I think one of two things about it. On one hand, it's irrelevant. It doesn't go to prove or disprove whether Mr. Combs is guilty of the charges as alleged in the indictment. On the other hand, I do think that it provides background information that there were other individuals that could have possibly observed these alleged assaults or attacks on Ms. Ventura. Not only that, but if the government intends on establishing a timeline or a pattern of events with respect to Mr. Combs, his enterprise, and their dealings with individuals from the public or in the industry, it's good to note that the allegation, or at least the testimony, came in that Usher was involved with Mr. Combs early on in his career when he was approximately, I believe, 14 years of age, that he had gone to some sort of academy through Mr. Combs' enterprise or business. And the government can certainly use that to show a long pattern of behavior.
Yeah, because it's like he's courting people. No matter the age, no matter who they are, he courting them to be in their life, no matter if it's on a sexual level or whatever. A predator is a predator. For whatever reason, they going after that person. You know what I mean? So a lot of times people be around people and they get financial gain, but at the same time, a person feel like they own you, and you got to show them a certain respect that you probably wouldn't even show your parents. It's crazy.
Dealings that he may have had with other individuals in the industry, and also to establish that Mr. Combs and Ms. Ventura had this long-standing relationship, that not only, there were a select few that got to observe, but that publicly some of these allegations or allegations of violence happened, and that other people observe those things.
And when we look at the transcript, and I have it here, and you have the defense asking why Richard did not talk previously in conversations with the government about Usher being there, Jimmy Levine, who's a famous producer, as well as the singer Neo. Should we take anything away from that it appeared that their names didn't come up earlier when she was having conversations with the government?
Yeah, what we can take away, and what the defense is essentially trying to do here, is really strike at her credibility. What the defense will now, and why was that? If you are participating in a government investigation, you're presumed and you should tell the truth, the whole truth, and the full truth, and you fail to disclose a significant thing, which were the other individuals that were present, you fail to disclose that to the government. And now it's only today, as you're testifying, that we're just now hearing of these other individuals, Usher Raymond, Neo, and other executive producers that were involved or possibly witnesses to the case. Again, striking at her credibility because she did not tell the full truth at the time she was asked by the government, which later down the line during closing arguments, the defense can get up and say, Ms. Richard testified A, B, and C to you. However, she failed to disclose X, Y, and Z, and that's why you shouldn't believe her. That's why you should not give her the credibility that the judge is going to instruct you on, and the jury can take that into consideration.
Now that's where it's at. They just basically trying to paint a picture that she is not credible to listen to anything that has to do with this case. Because this case is really not about her. It shouldn't be. But I think they are painting a picture to kind of show that she was basically after money, and a lot of people are after money after she pulled her stunts. So they just paint a picture that she was a part of everything that was going on. She lied numerous of times and stuff like that. So I just don't understand, where do this stands in criminal activity. Like, all the drugs they found in the house was enough to lock a kid up, So I don't understand what's they aim. It kind of seemed like he's gonna wiggle out of this, but we'll see.